Ladies and gentlemen, MMA fans, degenerates of all ages over the age of 21, welcome back to the Sharp Action Report here on Friday. We've got you for UFC 293, and we are joined by my guy, Andrew from Superbook Sports. He's going to give us a little peek behind the curtain so we can see sharp and notable action from the other side of the counter. Andrew, my man, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm awesome. This has been a crazy week in the sports book, obviously, with the NFL starting up. I love me some tennis. We got some good tennis finals or semifinals coming up today for the men's. So yeah, the sports book is looking to have a big weekend. Hopefully, this card is a fun one. There's some exciting fights. I wouldn't say the name recognition is the greatest on this card, but there's some exciting fights, and we definitely got some sharp action. So I'm happy to give it to you guys and let you guys know what the book needs. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to tie NHL, NFL, and MMA all into the same parlays. It's the best time of year. My Vikings are back on Sunday. I'll bet you guys are busy, man. But this is a fun UFC card, and I can't wait to hear where the action is. The best part, folks, me and my guy Andrew, we stay in touch. We DM back and forth a little bit here. He's been a little MIA this week, so all the news this week is news to me as much as it is to you. I know nothing coming into the show, so I'm excited to hear what we got going on. Do us a favor, smash the like button. Check out my guy Andrew on social media. Give him and Superbook Sports a follow. Let's get into these fights. First fight of the night, you've got two newcomers here. Kevin Juicet taking on Kiefer Crosby, a fight that really the only thing I have any interest in is maybe the under. This seems like a banger of a fight with two guys that probably aren't UFC caliber, big gaping holes in their MMA games that the other can take advantage of. I think somebody's getting finished. I'm just not sure who. I don't want to lay minus 155 on Kevin Juicet, though he probably is the rightful side here. Do you have anything on this first fight?
Yeah, so we opened this one, Juicet, at minus 135. The line has creeped up during the week, as you said. It seems like that might be the right side. It's up to 155 here in Nevada. We did take a sharp bet early at 135 from one of our more respected bettors on this card. And yeah, as of now, that's the side we're trying to book to and write a little bit more money on the dog here. There hasn't been too much resistance as we've inched this thing up, but hopefully as the fight comes closer, we get some interest in the dog. Yeah, that's where we're sitting right now.
Okay. I like it. Thank you very much for letting us know. We have got a favorite with some sharp action to kick the day off, folks. Next up, Shane Jung takes on Gabriel Miranda, and I'm really interested in this fight. It's another one where I think the under probably makes a whole lot of sense, but at this point, I have not gotten to pulling the trigger. I wanted to see the weigh-ins, the face-offs, see how these guys size up first. Anything notable here on this second fight of the night?
Yeah, so I gave you a little text warning earlier about our big guy. Our big bettor came in, and this is the fight that he had an opinion on. Yeah, so we opened this one, Shane Jung, at minus 150. It's currently sitting minus 130. Our sharpest UFC bettor did come in and bet the dog on this fight at plus 135. So I'm a believer in this guy. I know I've given out his plays on the show before. He's up and down. But overall, if you're tailing this guy, I would say as a bettor, it's probably a smart thing to do. But yeah, the book is certainly rooting for the dog in this position. And I think my wallet will be rooting for him as well. So that's where we sit on this card.
Okay. You know what, man? That is the side that I have been leaning to myself the entire week. Have not quite gotten there just yet. So that's absolute music to my ears. I will be pulling the trigger on Gabriel Miranda. I kind of felt like I was going to end up on that side anyway after seeing the face-offs, the size advantage. I like the dog here. I think it's time to call it quits with Shane Jung, especially with him missing weight and stuff like that this morning. Now that I hear that the big guy is on him too, let's go. That's going to be a bet. That's absolutely a spot we'll be taking this week. So we got big guy action here, folks. Make sure you smash that like button for the big guy. Next up, Mike Mcdessie, you've got Blood Diamond taking on Charlie Radkey. And I kind of can't wrap my brain around this one very well. Andrew, I'll be honest. Mike seems to be given an opponent here this goes one of two ways. It's a guy that can be hurt. It's a guy he's got a striking advantage over. So maybe that round 1 KO highlight for the city kickboxing boy is what's being set up here. But if he fails to do that, the grappling disadvantage is massive between these guys. So another one where I expect probably a finish. It's either Mike KO or Radkey sub. I'm just not sure which one's going to happen.
Yeah. So this is a fight that's definitely interesting to me because there was a lot of hype. I don't know how many fights ago it was for Blood Diamond, but I feel like he was definitely a prospect that people were excited about. But on this card, it seems like the public has definitely been interested in the favorite here on Charlie. We opened this one at 250. It's currently sitting 330. There hasn't really been much resistance on the dog for this fight. Like I said, it's climbed 80 cents since we've opened it, and I'm not going to say that there's been a ton of sharp money from us. There might be in the marketplace. There might be some sharp money to move a number 80 cents. There probably is some sharp money, but this stuff definitely seems like a leg that is going to be on a majority of the parlays, from what I'm guessing from the big chalk parlays. This is going to be one of the legs that I would assume is on most people's little parlay cards. But yeah, we're hoping to get some more resistance. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing keeps climbing until we do see some resistance. So we'll see where this number closes. And right now, we need the dog just due to all the parlay money. But there's nothing overly notable for you guys on this fight, total or fight.
Okay. All right. There you guys have it. Next up, Nasrat Haqparast takes on Landon Quinones. This kind of seems like your classic Nasrat by decision spot where he's just a little too much for the new kid filling in here on short notice, looking to fill out the card, make sure the UFC fills those contractual obligations. Big favorite. I'm not expecting this one to be the parlay buster, man. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really either. I hope so. I know we do the same song and dance when we do these podcasts. You always need one of the big favorites to lose on a card like this. For the book to be sitting in a good spot, this would be one that would definitely be ideal. We opened this one at 450 on Haqparast. It's sitting $5 currently. There's been a little bit more action on the dog in this fight, and we do have some liability on the dog. But overall, I know that that's going to change tomorrow. And when you have a $5 favorite, it's easy for people who maybe aren't putting too much thought into the fights to just tie these in, like we said with the football parlays. Like this one could just be a fight that's with some people's opinions in the NFL. So I don't think we're going to need the favorite here, but right now that's where we sit. We did get some action on the dog, nothing too overly respected. We also took a bet on the over in this fight. So like you said, I'm guessing people are maybe leaning that this guy is just going to win another decision, Haqparast. But yeah, that's where we sit here.
All right. You love to see it. Let's keep this train moving right along. Next up, Jamie Malarkey, John Mcdessie. My guy, John Mcdessie, moved out to Fight Ready, my favorite camp of all time. That's not slowing this number down. Jamie Malarkey is a big favorite in this spot. I assume you guys probably need the city kickboxer here on this one also.
Yeah, this one did move from 190 to 260, which is also another pretty sizable move. Especially from our perspective, where there hasn't been too much respected money on this fight. That is a pretty big move. But yeah, you're right. We're going to need the dog for now. But tomorrow, I'm assuming with a big favorite like this, that he'll be tied in as well. Not really. I apologize that there's not really too much to report on this fight. I think this is actually stylistically a pretty entertaining fight. So, yeah, hopefully this one writes a little bit more money. I think the under, for my opinion, I think the under definitely has a shot. I'm kind of surprised it's sitting at plus 170 for the under. There hasn't really been too much action on that either, though. So I can't really report too much on this fight either.
Okay. All right. Let's keep on a moving. We'll tell you guys about the good stuff. Unfortunately, we already got the big guy out of there. So if you guys are looking for the big guy's action specifically, you'll need to rewind and go back to the beginning of the show. Next up, Jack Jenkins takes on Chepe Marscow. And Jack Jenkins, the hometown fighter here, getting a good showcase. Chepe being turned right back around. See if he can kill off another prospect. Anything notable on this one here, Andrew?
Yeah, so we do got some notable information on this one. From a booking perspective, this one's been pretty entertaining. We opened Jack Jenkins at 220. It was kind of steaming down. It got as low as 180, and now it's sitting back up at 210. We did take a really sharp bet on Jenkins at 180, and then, like I said, the price kind of climbed back up to 210, and it seems like it's still working its way up a little bit. Yeah, for us right now, we are booking to need Jack Jenkins because we really respect this guy. I wouldn't call him our best better, but he is certainly somebody that we keep an eye on and we try to at least win on his side. So, yeah, we're rooting for Jack Jenkins. I think, my personal opinion, this is one that I've actually had a little bit more time to dig into some of the more major fights. I think I really like Jack Jenkins too, and he's a durable guy. I wouldn't be shocked on the total over or under. But yeah, we're looking to need Jack Jenkins in this situation.
Music to my ear holes, man. I'm big on Jack Jenkins myself this week. I love to hear that. Love to hear you got a sharp better on it. Love to hear the book is positioning themselves to score when Jack Jenkins gets his hand raised. Hopefully, I'm right there with you making that money. Shout out my guy in the chat, Daniel Convert. Yes, this is in fact live, guy. It is live. So thank you for joining here. Thank you for becoming a member at Pub Sports Radio. For this show, we keep it pretty tight, and our guy Andrew gives us the information. We don't do a whole lot of interaction with the chat. However, I'll be turning right back around and doing the undefeated post-weigh-in show right after this one. So you get your shot then, and I'll talk a little bit more with you guys for that show. Next up, Carlos Ulberg takes on Da Un Jung, or I guess it's Da Woon Jung now. They've changed the spelling of his name. It took them, I guess, 6 UFC fights to figure out his middle name is Woon and not Un. So here we go, man. Another big favorite, Carlos Ulberg. He's been knocking everybody out left and right. And even though Jung has been on a bit of a skid, he hasn't been all that impressive himself. I still think this is a step up in competition for Carlos Ulberg. Weird spot, man. Weird spot. What do you see on this one?
Yeah, definitely. This is one where I'm like kind of eyeing in on it, and I'm like, this could be the one that might be our parlay buster. I'm hoping. So we opened this one at $3 with Ulberg as a $3 favorite. It's honestly shot down a decent amount. We did take a very sharp bet on the dog in this fight. So this is the one, like I said, I'm keeping my eye on this one. I'm hoping that this could be potentially the one that does it for us. The same guy who bet the Jenkins fight was also on this one. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Currently, we need Ulberg, but we are trying to kind of change our positioning a little bit once we got that bet. And I don't think it's going to be an issue when you have somebody sitting at 250 to write that money. And he's the person people have heard of, and I think he's going to be a heavily bet person this weekend.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. He's the selling point for all the women's MMA fans out there too. You know, my wife will be on the couch for this fight and this fight only. So I think they'll get plenty of parlay action on him. But I'm with you, man. I thought actually this is my live bet spot of the week. I'm looking very, very, very closely at the dog here in this spot. Part of me is tempted to take the plunge and just do it pre-flop just in case. But the other part of me is like, just wait live. See if he grapples. If he shoots a takedown, then jump in immediately. But if he doesn't shoot a takedown and dies in round one, I save my money. So I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I definitely lean dog or pass on that spot myself. I think Ulberg's going to be a very, very public favorite. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The Twitter Civil War of the week is up next. You've got Tyson Pedro taking on the pleasure man himself, Anton Turkalj. I'm on Turkalj. I got the early number. I got that plus money ticket in my pocket. Now he is the slight favorite here in this spot. Curious which side you guys like or you think will be the side you need here.
Yeah, so this one's actually moved a lot. originally Tyson Pedro was a pretty sizable favorite. We opened him up at minus 140. There has been really good action on the dog. And watching the press conference yesterday, this is my personal opinion. I don't know. I don't know. Pedro does look like I'm just not too sure on him, and I can understand why this line has switched a little bit. We did get a sharp bet from that same guy who we really do respect. That seems to have changed, at least where this line was. It was close to a pick for a while, and now we're sitting Anton at minus 120. So this one's moved almost 60 cents, and you usually don't really get to see a favorite. Yeah, it's a big move when the fight was almost a pick. So, yeah, currently we're going to need Pedro, but like I said, we do have really respected action on the favorite on Anton. So hopefully we can keep putting ourselves in a little bit better position and need now the favorite. And yeah, I don't have too much of an opinion on this fight. Did you gain anything from the press conference or the weigh-ins this morning on this one?
You know, it just seems like Pedro is enjoying the moment a little too much for me. I know that's kind of a weird way to put it, but I've never been impressed with Pedro. He's a round one or bust type of guy. He always has been his entire career. Took a long layoff, beat a couple of bums that don't belong in the UFC, and then the first real guy that he fought, Mcdessie, who frankly I'm not even sure he belongs in the UFC. That guy beat him. He's been struggling with injuries his entire career. Now he's a little older. Like, man, I wouldn't be shocked if the Pleasure Man, puts him through the ringer on Saturday. I really wouldn't be surprised if Pedro calls it quits, just because of the trajectory he's been on, and then the way he was on the mic. He ran down to pick up his daughter at the weigh-ins. I mean, like, he's sucking in every single moment this weekend. And so, I know he's only 31, but like, that's what you see from fighters that are getting close to the end of the road. When they start acting like that, they're more worried about the moment than they are the fight. It's because it's coming to a close. And he hasn't said the R word. I'm not saying he's retiring or anything, but that's the vibe I get. I was already on the dog here. I've been on Turkalj since this line opened up. I was hoping people would back the round one prowess of Pedro and I'd get a bigger number on Turkalj, but I saw the line was dropping and had to jump in as quick as I could because, as you can see, now it's flipped over to the favorites. So I'm definitely all team Pleasure Man here this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not I couldn't really put my finger on it, but just watching the press conference and the weigh-ins, it did feel like something was a little off to me for with Pedro. I'm not really sure what it is. And I mean, that's not how we really book, is my opinion on how somebody looks on the scales, right? But that was just my personal take on it. Another thing that I thought was interesting is Pedro was such like a touted prospect to where when we were even doing those futures at the beginning of the year and last year, he was listed and people were betting him thinking he could be a future champion. So insanity. Like people were bought in on him at a moment, and now he's sitting as a dog in this fight, which is like super, super interesting to me, to where he's kind of fell off from that high horse, So I think the favorite Anton has a good shot here, and that's where I'm sitting, and that's where I think the book will be sitting at the end of this.
I like it. All right, let's go. So far, we've been pretty much in lockstep on everything, whether it be your opinion or the sharp action. I'm kind of right there with you guys on this one, and it kind of feels good to be sitting with the book every once in a while. The house has been around for a long time. You guys don't lose very often, so it feels good for me to need the same things you guys do. We're getting to the main event portion of the card, everybody. Feel free to smash that like button, sub here if you haven't already. Justin Taffa up next, takes on Austin Lane. A weird rebooking after the eye poke. We saw about 20 seconds worth of action before that fight got halted. Now Taffa's in his backyard. The line has moved for some reason, like with a gap of 6 weeks between the bookings of the fights and watching the DQ. The bookies have ramped Taffa up to being a bigger favorite. Almost feels trappy to me because I saw everything I felt like I needed to see from Austin Lane in that first fight that showed he was following the game plan. Like, to do what you need to do to beat Taffa, that's what Austin Lane did. Now, can he do that 20 seconds for 15 minutes without getting clipped? That I don't know. But it's interesting to me that the book saw what they wanted and said, okay, we'll make Taffa a bigger favorite now. That seems very, very sketchy to me. So what are you guys doing on this one? And if you've seen any public action, sharp action, let us know.
Yeah, so we opened this one at 230 on Taffa. Like you said, that's much higher than it was last time where it was closer to a pick. It shot up all the way to 260, and we did get some action on the dog once we hit that number. Once we it kept stretching up, and now it's sitting all the way back down at $2. There has been some action on the dog, and I am with you. I kind of agree with it. Sometimes the market is the market, and we don't control the market. You can't be too far off on what the market is, because you'll just get bets on the other side that you are not agreeing on, right? So personally, I like Lane. I'm going to book it to at least need Lane for a little bit. We're going to get that favorite money. So, that's not going to be an issue. And like you said, I think he had the right game plan. And if he can keep that fight at length, I think he can win a decision. I would like the over in this fight, honestly.
I was
really
tempted on that.
Yeah, I really do. At 1.5 over 180, I really just plus 180. I think there's some value there. I really think that if he can keep that distance, he can stretch this fight out. I really do.
Yeah, you're getting a big juicy number on that over 1.5. Everyone thinks these guys are going to come out and bang, and I'm with you, man. Taffa's stupid durable, and Lane is going to have to play the outside. He's going to have to keep his range. So I'm with you there, man. I think that that's a sneaky spot. And then if he falls apart and gets caught later by Taffa, yeah, I don't care. I cashed my over 1.5 already. So that's kind of the way
we can sit here and say that we like the over, but it also wouldn't shock me if he just doesn't have that right game plan and goes into the fire and gets caught. That could also happen, right? I mean, Taffa's a massive puncher, but like you said, 20 seconds into that last fight, it did seem like he had some sort of game plan where he did not want to get in that fire exchange, because that is probably not where he should be. So
absolutely,
hopefully he sticks to the game plan. And I lean, if I had to bet anything on this one, like I said, I think I would bet the over.
I'm with you. And I think with the numbers the way that they are, you're getting almost the same number on the over 1.5 that you would be on Austin Lane's money line. And I think they correlate. I think if you're betting on Austin, you need the over. So I'd rather only sweat for 7.5 minutes rather than sweating out him to win the entire fight. I think that makes sense. So I might be joining you there. Small shot on that over 1.5. No bet to this point here for me. Real quick, man, we got a shout out. We got a donation here in the chat. The Real Dark Knight with the 199 dono. Thank you so much for watching the show and donating here to Pub Sports Radio. But he says, so the Pleasure Man is better than Paul Craig and Khalil. What I think you're missing on this one, my friend, is that Tyson Pedro defeated Paul Craig and Khalil Roundtree in 2016 and 2017, respectively. And to that point, this version of Anton Turkalj is probably better than Paul Craig and Khalil Roundtree in 2016 and 2017. Yes, absolutely. And also, this version of Tyson Pedro, in my opinion, is worse than the version of Tyson Pedro that existed in 2017 and 2018. It's not simply as simple as these guys are better than those guys. That was a long time ago, man. Really long time ago. So, all right.
Like we said, he was a huge prospect at that time. Pedro he wasn't losing a lot of fights, and things have changed a lot in Pedro's career than at that time. So
exactly,
yeah, I would agree with you 100%.
Lots of wear and tear, lots of injuries. He never really lived up to that hype that we expected. He just lost to Mcdessie Spicalcas. Different times. All right, moving along. Manel Kape takes on Felipe dos Santos, and man, I got to tell you, Andrew, I don't use the L word, especially when it comes to MMA. There's no such thing as a lock in MMA because everybody's got a puncher's chance, especially a 22-year-old stud coming out of shoot the box. But I think Kape's going to murder this kid. What are you seeing over there?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a massive step up in difficulty from a contender series fight to go fight somebody who was potentially getting close to almost a title shot. He was going to fight Kai Kara-France and position himself, if he won that fight, to be real close to a title fight. So we opened this one at 350 on the favorite on Manel Kape. It's sitting 420 now. There hasn't really been a lot of resistance on this fight. It's not the most entertaining from a booking perspective to maybe talk about this one. There's been a lot of action on like the parlays with him sitting as like a $4 favorite. I would love to say we could use the dog here. I don't, like you said, I don't think this is the one that is going to get there. I do think this kid is tough, but it's just quite the step up in competition. For a total, this is an entertaining one. We did take some money on the under in this fight. So
I like that.
I think that they think he should take care of business and get back into maybe hunting for the title more than taking somebody who is new to the company.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the under makes sense because this kid is going to come out banging, right? He knows his only opportunity is going to be to land a knockout or a sub early. He's not going to beat this guy over the course of 15 minutes. Yeah. And I think that's going to flip the table and open up the finish for Kopp as well. So no matter who wins, I think the under is definitely the move, but I don't think Kopp is going to be the parlay buster for you guys this week.
I don't either. I'm with you on that one.
All right. Well, I'm sad we got the news about the big guy early because I was hoping he agreed with me on my favorite spot of the card. Up next, we got Tai Tuivasa taking on Alexander Volkov in the co-main event, and I got to hear what you guys have got here for this one. I know Volkov is another very popular parlay piece this week, and I do think he is the parlay buster myself. I've got a big bet on Tai Tuivasa. Tell me you've got somebody smarter than me agreeing with me on this one, Andrew. Come on.
Sadly, in this situation, I don't have that information to give you. I don't hate your opinion, and I think the way you've been betting, you belong in that sharp category. So, I mean, if that's your opinion, I don't necessarily disagree with you. But from what we've seen so far, we opened this one at $2. Very early, we did take a pretty respected bet on Alexander. So now we're sitting 260, and the line has kind of keep stretching out a little bit, which I'm sure you're not thrilled about. But if you did want to get another bet on Tui, I mean, it feels like this price keeps getting stretched out, and I think he's got a good shot here. And the book certainly needs Tuivasa at this point. Like that, I'd say that is our biggest need so far in this week. So the book, like you said, is built for a reason. Hopefully this sharp guy is maybe off on this one. But he bet him early, and currently we need Tuivasa.
Okay, well, I'm right there with you. I think you guys are going to get it. Like I said, I think this is the parlay buster spot of the week. All right.
How do you think it goes down? I don't want to get into what you talk too much about on your next podcast, but you think he gets it done early, or is it? How do you think the fight plays out?
No, I think it's going to be late round two. I think it's going to be late round two. So Volkov, when he fights these little power puncher guys, he does a good job of maintaining the distance and the range, and we've seen that work for him. But he can't keep it up. He can't do it the entire fight. People do crash into that pocket, and they're able to land on him. And you've seen kind of the same exact combination, the same flurry of punches from some big hitters hit him over and over and over again. Yeah. Rosenstruck did it. Black Beast did it when he was able to knock him out. Aspinall did it right before they hit the ground in their exchange. So I think Tai is going to be able to go to the well, the same problem that Volkov has had his entire career. And he's just the biggest hitter Volkov has faced since Derek Lewis. So, he hasn't been knocked out in a long time. He's only been knocked out, twice his entire professional career. I think his chin will hold up for the early goings of the fight. But as it gets deeper, man, they call him Tuivasa for a reason. Round two is his best round every time he fights. I think he'll end up catching him deep into round two and not get us to the judges' scorecards. But round one will be, a little hairy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is one I personally am going to be riding with you. I know that it kind of reminds me of the spot a couple weeks ago where you were against the world with Derek Lewis a little bit. Mm-hmm. For some reason, it feels like Volkov is the public play of the week. I'm not quite sure why. He's coming off 2 solid wins, but this might be a good buy low spot on Tuivasa, like you said. So I think I'm going to be riding with you here.
It's a combination of buy low on Tuivasa and sell high on Volkov, man. That's kind of the thing is Volkov, it's funny. You see it over and over and over again. Like even in the Sean O'Malley fight, man, you get these guys who are disrespected their entire careers, right? Maybe they should get more respect. They should be bigger favorites. They should get more credit. And they don't. They never do. Everyone wants to bet against them. And then they put 1 or 2 good wins together, and all of a sudden they're massive favorites. And it's because everybody's like, oh, finally, they're real. We got what we need. Well, no. You've been right all along. They should never have been that giant of favorites. And now that everyone's ready to load up, that's the spot you swerve and you go the other way. Same thing happened with Tyron Woodley. You know, he was an underdog even when he was defending the title as a champion until he fought Kamaru Usman. And then everyone was ready to lay the wood against Kamaru. Well, we saw how damn good Kamaru was. That was the spot where the bookies said, okay, we'll give you your giant favorite. Now everyone's hyped on this guy. Pile on in. And that's what they did. We saw it on Derek Lewis. We saw it on Tyron Woodley. We saw it on not Sean O'Malley, but on his opponent in that spot. Sorry, my mind's going blank for Aljo there. So I think it's just the same thing. It's the same spot. Alexander Volkov has finally hit the peak. Everyone thinks he's finally worth the chalk. I disagree.
Okay, I'm with you. I like where your mind's at on this fight for sure.
I like it. All right, enough about me. Let's get to the main event. Sharp action. Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland, the man who is just working the mic like a madman these last couple of days, ready to set Australia and the world on fire if he pulls off the upset this weekend here. What do you guys see it over there?
Yeah, sadly, this one is not like for what the fight brings. I don't think it's been it's not the most entertaining for me at least, to give you guys what we see. Because, I mean, he's sitting at a $6.50 favorite. We opened him at $6. The money's coming in on Adesanya. We haven't really got any pushback yet on Sean Strickland. I'm not sure how much this thing's going to get stretched out. I wouldn't be shocked if it keeps going up and it's sitting at $7 a little bit later today, or gets up to $8 until we see something respected from somebody betting on the dog here. I mean, I don't really know how this fight's going to go down, but I'm hoping to at least see an entertaining fight. The total's sitting at 4.5 under 40. We did get some bets on that as well. But yeah, from the actual fight, there's not too much to give because he's sitting as such a big favorite. It just happens that he's going to be in every parlay. And yeah, right now we really need the dog in this spot, which I'm not going to say I feel too confident about.
Yeah, this one almost seemed like the bookies are positioning themselves to limit the action. You know what? It's like, we're going to make Izzy such a big favorite, no one can bet him. That's what it feels like to me. And I think that's the side. I think, Sean Strickland is not the guy. It's going to be fun. It'll be entertaining. But at the end of the day, I just think there's levels to this. And Izzy is levels above Sean Strickland. I don't see him causing very much of a problem, even if he does decide to grapple. That's kind of the big thing, right? Is if Sean Strickland grapples. I think Izzy's had enough time to prep that ground game at this point that I don't know that he's going to get him down and sub him the second they touch the ground. It's not like he's the floor is lava type of jiu-jitsu guy. So we'll see what happens, man. But I do think Israel kind of dismantles him and picks his round. When he decides he wants this fight to be over, that kind of seems like it'll happen.
Yeah, and last fight not last fight, but when Strickland fought Pereira, I was kind of just bought into that mindset where he was gonna be smart enough to maybe not go stand toe-to-toe with a guy like Pereira and maybe try to mix it up with the grappling. And I'm not going to get my hopes up that he's going to do that here. It just doesn't seem like that's his style. It feels like he wants to go prove something to the world. So I could be wrong. I hope he does go out there and make it interesting at least, and maybe try to grapple and maybe this would be one of the most massive upsets ever. And I'm sure that the UFC wouldn't be thrilled with it. But yeah, you could tell Izzy's pretty locked in. He wasn't buying into all the antics that Sean Strickland gives. Sean Strickland was trying to make that press conference entertaining, and you can tell Izzy's just about the business and taking care of business and getting to the next fight.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you, and I think you're right. And there's something about quiet Izzy, right? Like when Izzy's not running his mouth, he's serious. And that's the kind of thing that honestly I do read into. We've seen him do this enough times that like when Izzy's barking, sometimes it's like, maybe he's losing the mental battle on this one. But when he's dead silent and he's confident the way he's been showing, I feel like there's no stopping him. He has yet to be wrong when he like shushes the crowd. He has yet to miss when he calls that kind of a shot. So I'm believing. I think Izzy is the anchor of all anchors on parlays, and I don't think the belt changes hands on Saturday.
Yeah, we don't need to hear that, Clint. We don't need any more people betting Izzy in parlays. It's going to be
They're all going to
NFL
tie it to
weekend.
Volkov, and you'll be fine.
That's true. That's true. I'm with you there. I'm not really sure why that price is where it is, but the Izzy price, like you said, I do get where it is, and it does feel exactly like what you said. The books probably don't want to get hammered on Izzy in this spot. So
yeah. No, I'm telling you though, man, is every single parlay, like if somehow Ulberg doesn't shit the bed, every single parlay is going to come down to Volkov and Adesanya, and you guys will be sweating for a good 5 minutes, and then Tuivasa is going to find the button, and everyone's going to be out there crying because they didn't quite make it to the lock of all locks that is Israel Adesanya. Tui's going to save you guys on Saturday. That's my call.
All right, I'm with you. I'm hoping you're right for sure.
All right, everybody, that is the Sharp Action Report for UFC 293. Thank you very much for joining us here on the show, Andrew. We appreciate you and your time as always. If there's anything you want to promote, shout out, anything going on with the book, let the people know.
Yes, sir. We got boatloads of same game parlays, and just come check out what we have offering for these NFL games. I think we're getting up there with the competitors, and we're offering some fun stuff for these NFL games. And if you want to tie Izzy in with the parlays with the NFL games, feel free. I mean, I'm not thrilled about it, but I know that's what's going to happen. But come do it at the Superbook. If you want to start betting, take a look at the Superbook. Follow me on Twitter if you have it. If you have any questions or anything, reach out to me, and I'm more than willing to answer and give you guys some insight on what we're looking at. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully we can do another one soon. I know there's some exciting fight cards coming up, and I got some good information on this next card. So maybe we can sneak a podcast in. We'll see where you're at. But yeah, I'm thrilled to do these things with you, man. They're fun.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, my guy. And hey, if it, show some support in the chat here, folks. Smash the like button once the show ends. Get in that comment section. Hey, if you want an extra show, extra Sharp Action Report next week, maybe we can facilitate that. Show us some love. Bring it on. Everybody go support my guy, Andrew. I will be back for the Undefeated Post Weigh-In show. You guys don't go anywhere. Click the refresh button a couple of times. I'm going to set up the stream right now. Stay in this chair, and we're going to run that show immediately right after this one so we can get her done since the ceremonial weigh-ins have already completed. So get in there, smash the like button, follow my guy, Andrew. We'll talk to you guys in just a few minutes. Good luck on all that degenerate action. Let's roll.